Hi everyone, it's me. If you're new here, my name is Alanna and I'm Canadian, but I live here in the UK. And if you're not new here, hey, how's it going? Recently, I was made aware of a secret underground train in London. And we are not talking about the tube. Now, you might be aware of it, and if you are, that's super cool. I had no idea this existed. Maybe you're like me and this is like the first time you've heard of it, but there is a secret train here at the Postal Museum in London. Yes, it feels like the most British thing ever, a postal museum. So we are here bright and early. I have booked a ticket and I am ready to explore. I know absolutely nothing about this place other than there is a secret train, but I purposely didn't Google what it looks like. I have no idea what we're about to see. We are going to go in totally blind. As you can tell, man, I am so excited. The only thing I know about this place is one of my girlfriends, I think went with her niece or something. So I'm kind of worried that this is going to be a children's activity, and I am going by myself as a 32-year-old lady. But you know what? We're out here. I'm doing this in the name of science. And if I am the only adult or the only person without a child, so be it. I went to the London Aquarium and I was the only adult without a kid. So you know what? I've done it before and I can do it again. On the face of it, Post Museum doesn't sound super exciting, does it? But it feels so British. And I'm really excited to see what we're gonna learn. Really, this entire YouTube channel is about learning things, about learning about the UK, about learning what it means to be British, and it's something that's really important to me. One thing I'm really excited about learning this year is actually French, which I'm doing with the sponsor of today's video, Babbel. As a Canadian, you are forced to learn French. It is a requirement at school, and I hated it. I just couldn't pick it up. I found French so stressful. That was one of my least favorite classes. And the second I was allowed to drop it, I did. But with Babbel, I'm actually really enjoying the learning process. Babbel is one of the top language learning apps in the world, with lessons created by over 650 real language experts. So you can learn practical, real-world conversations.
Oui, j'habite ici.
And you can start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks. Wild. If you want to learn something new this year, make sure to use my link in the description and get up to 55% off your subscription. And if you are going to learn a language this year, leave a comment down below which one. There's a lot to choose from. Anyway, I'm really excited. I have zero idea what we're about to see, but without further ado, let's go.
Hello and welcome to Mail Rail. You're about to explore some of London's hidden underground postal railway. I'm Andy, your guide today, and I'm joined by Ray Middlesworth. Hi, Ray.
Hi. I worked here as an engineer for 27 years, keeping the trains running. But not just any old trains. This unique narrow gauge railway was designed to carry mail, not people. So if you're feeling a little cramped, that's why.
And it's amazing to think construction of the railway began as far back as 1914, with the tunnels dug by hand. Work was put on hold during the First World War, but when the railway finally opened in 1927, it cut the journey time across London from a few hours to just 30 minutes.
It was an engineering marvel. Mail rail ran almost non-stop, night and day, for over 75 years until 2003.
The platform you're about to see looks much as it did on the day it shut down in 2003. Ray, can you describe it for us?
When Mail Rail was running, this platform would be a hive of activity. You'd see people playing darts between the trains arriving, guys conversing back and forth and wheeling work up and down. It was a noisy and lively place to work.
Ray's going to tell you more about life working on the railway as we take a trip down memory lane through the many decades of Mail Rail.
We're under Mount Pleasant sorting office, heading east to Whitechapel. It was hard work down here, but we all thought we were part of something important. There was enormous team spirit. We seemed to get ourselves in the news a lot in the 90s. It didn't hurt that Bruce Willis made a film down here called Hudson Hawk. In the 80s, we had our 60th anniversary. Along with that, we had a new brand and finally some new trains. I'll tell you two things that sum up the 70s. Postcodes made life a lot easier, and strikes made life not so easy. The swinging 60s. Those World Cup stamps sold out after England won. There were a few celebrations down here that summer. In the 50s, air travel became much more common, and so did airmail, and that meant even more of it travelled along mail rail.
How old were you around that time? How old was she, do you think?
The railway was bombed several times. This station suffered the most damage when it was hit in 1943. Amazingly, the railway was back up and running the very next day. That reflected how vital the railway had become.
Don't worry, everybody. Just a power cut.
I hope you've enjoyed your tour of London's hidden postal railway. It was unique, and I love being part of the great team keeping the railway running.
We hope you'll enjoy exploring the rest of the exhibition just as much.
Okay, so I got in a little bit of trouble. Ugh. Me and this dad were filming the rail, the mail rail come in, and then this guy came up and says, you know, you're not allowed to film staff. So I am deeply sorry, my bad. But that was actually so cool. I think they said it's about 15 minutes, a little bit claustrophobic, very stuffy, but very, very cool. I wish more museums had a little underground ride that you could take and learn about its history. And I will say, when they shut off the power, like they shut off the lights and we sat on the track and it was just like deathly quiet, aside from a couple of kids, and really hot and stuffy, and you're like underground. And I thought, not my favorite, but that was really cool. I had no idea that this was here. Really, really fun. It's such a fun way to learn about perhaps history that's not super exciting. Like, is male history super exciting? Probably not. But I had a really great time. So that is only the first portion. It's in its own building here. Just down the street where we started is the actual museum. So I am getting hungry. I hope they have a little cafe. Maybe we could get something to eat and then explore the museum. But so far, I'm having a great time. That is not at all what I thought it was going to be. I didn't know what it was going to be. And I had a good time. So unlike a lot of London museums, this was a paid attraction. It's kind of like museum attraction, I guess. I want to say it was like £19. And I do think you can go to the museum as many times as you want in a year. I think that the ride is kind of a one and done here. So it's sort of like £19. How many times am I going to go back to the museum? Well, we're going to find out. But I am getting hungry. So before you actually go into the museum, there's a little gift shop and a cafe. Sometimes I find the sandwiches at these places really depressing, so I went with a chicken Caesar salad and a apple juice, solely because it had a resealable top. And then the actual museum itself. So I don't want to alarm anybody, but I walked through it in about 9 minutes, which is actually a record for me. Now, that's not to say it was all boring. There was some interesting stuff. I loved the old post boxes that used to be a different color. So there's one, technically it said green, but to me it looked like this beautiful sort of like teal color. And lots of like the vehicles and the post boxes and some of that stuff. There was like postal magazines, so it had like all of the artwork. And yeah, just kind of breezed through it all, not gonna lie. I thought it was pretty interesting. They talk about stamps, obviously, we're at a postal museum. And I didn't realize that the first Queen Elizabeth stamps came out in 1953. Absolutely wild. Of course, now we've got the King Charles stamps, which are, can I just say, wow, the price of stamps lately, that sucks. Sorry, did I say 1953? I think it's 1952, but in any case, in the 1950s. We also had a rare Sittingbourne / Canterbury reference. You never see that in a museum. And they had this like postal bus. I've never seen a post bus before. Maybe you guys recognize it. I don't know. I've never heard of it, never seen it. Totally new to me. Now, at the very end of my walk through the one room, there was a sign of like construction and you weren't allowed to go into this one area. I don't know how big that area is. Is it going to be twice the size of the room that I just went through? Probably not. It didn't look that big, but there was an area that I couldn't go through. So it's hard to say what was back there, what I missed out on. Or maybe a better question is, what would have to be back there to make this part of the museum worthwhile / interesting? Because I think it needs a lot. I thought since it was so short, there were signs for the archive. So I went upstairs. The archive was closed. I guess it has set hours. I don't know if you can actually like see much up there or if it's more, kind of looked like there's like reading space and like reading rooms and whatever, but it was closed. Better luck next time. Now, how do we want to rate this experience? The museum itself, can I say, kind of sucks? Kind of sucks. Interesting, but £20, really, that hurts. But then when you add in the mail rail train, I keep wanting to say the mail trail, the mail rail train. When you add that in, like, that is a really interesting activity. That's not the right word I want. It's a really interesting, God, what's the word? Attraction, I think is what I want. It's an interesting attraction. It's a really cool way to learn the history. It was really fun. It was totally unique. You're not gonna see that anywhere else in London. It's just kind of a shame that you start so high and then you end on kind of like a boring room. My salad was really good though, so there's that. I would like to do some sort of video like comparing all of the museums I've been to in London. This of course is going to be on the list. If there's a museum that you love or maybe that you hate and you think it should be on the list, leave a comment down below. Let me know where to go. I kind of want to do them all. I know that's sort of crazy. There's like literally a million museums in London, but I kind of want to do them all. And then I can compare them all, which is the best one. This is a funny one because the first half was insanely good and the second half was kind of disappointing. Well, everyone, I think that's it for me. Don't forget to check out Babbel in the description and get a discount off your next subscription. But with that, I think that's it for me. This has been fun. Highs and lows, right? Highs and lows, but it is a beautiful day, and every time it rains, I am inside. If you'd like to watch another solo vlog, how about this one? But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!